Hey YouTube, ID321 here. Got another knife overview for you. This one is going to be of the Steel Will CUTJACK-MINI. This is model number C22M. Very nice knife. We're going to go over why I think it's such a nice knife and such a good value at its price point. There's a lot of good content about this knife already out on the internet. A lot of reviewers, a lot of channels have already taken the time to do that. So if you don't get what you're looking for in this video, certainly there is some content out there that you can get maybe some other questions answered or something. But on to the specs with this guy. The blade is 3 inches. The handle is 4 inches, giving us an overall of 7. The blade thickness is just about perfect at 0.12. It's not too thick, so it's not going to keep it from being a good slicer, and it's not too thin, so it's still going to be plenty strong for a little bit harder task. It's thin in the pocket as well, 0.44, so it's less than half an inch thick, which makes it nicer in the pocket. It's fairly light at 3 ounces. I'm not sure the official weight, but on my scale I get 3 ounces on it. We'll go to that here shortly. We have stainless steel liners that are milled out, so that helps with some of that weight. You can maybe see in there a little bit, but they are milled out. As you can see, it is a liner lock. Locks up very nice. You can see that relief cut on the back of the blade tang, cut at a nice angle, so it's going to lock up nice and tight for a long time. You can see in there we have phosphor bronze washers, which is a nice addition. Being that it's a flipper, sometimes the washers don't work out so good, but I tell you, they figured it out on this guy. I'm trying to give you another look at those washers. But yeah, this knife, as you can see, flipper tab, we get a little bit of jimping on the tab. The kicker is kind of tall, but it's really, I didn't find it to be obtrusive or anything in the pocket, but it can be light switched. Comes out great, or it can be done push button. Comes out great. The detent on it is not overpowering at all. It's precise, but not too much so that it's hard to flip. You can see it sucks it in nicely, and it tucks it in securely there within the liners, or I'm sorry, within the scales. So yeah, it's just right. It's just where it needs to be as far as detent. Holds the knife in well. Certainly not going to fall out. It won't quite shake itself shut. I guess it will if you really ride it down, but it's not a bearing knife, so I wouldn't expect that. But for something that's riding on a steel pivot and phosphorus bronze washers, it really does well. It has loosened up a little bit. Like I said, I've carried it about a week or so, and just fidgeting with it, just working that flipper. But yeah, the action on it is really remarkable for its price point and for the fact that it's just steel pivot and bronze washers. Branding and model there, like we showed you earlier on the knife, D2 steel. There's their logo. Ergonomics, it's great. I can almost get a full 4-finger grip without using the forward choil. Kind of like on a Spyderco Dragonfly, if you're familiar with that knife, how you have that kind of surface there that kind of grabs your pinky. So you're not quite wrapping around the knife, but it's something that's going to keep it from sliding down in your grip. But if I want to move up to the forward choil, I can still, you see plenty of knife sticking out on the back, and I get that nice full grip. And then thumb jimping up here for added traction as well. And the jimping is done very nice. You can see that machine work is excellent. Okay, and look at the fit and finish on the rest of the knife, if my camera will cooperate. There we go. Great fit and finish. All the edges are smooth. It does have a nice swedge on the top of the blade, so of course that's going to be smooth. And I believe this is a flat grind. It doesn't appear to be a hollow grind, and it's fairly high, and it is fairly thin behind the edge, so it's going to be a great slicer. And it is actually. I've cut food with it, and it slices food really well. Cut a little bit of cardboard, but nothing crazy. FRN backspacer with a generous lanyard hole, you can see there. Have no problem getting paracord through there if that's what you want to do, or leather or something like that to make yourself a nice lanyard. And we have FRN handle scale material as well. But overall, ergonomically and the action on the knife it's just great. It's really great for the money. And when we reach in here to grab the liner lock with our thumb to disengage the knife, it's right where it needs to be. This chamfered edge all the way around the FRN doesn't really have to be exaggerated with the big finger relief right there for your thumb. The liner sticks out where the jimping is on the lock. It sticks out just enough, and it's very easy. Very easy to get to. Right where your thumb goes when you push your thumb in, it's just right there. So opening and closing this knife is really nice for right-handed. We do have tip up carry only, left or right. And one thing I like too, the pocket clip, the screw heads are nice and wide. They're the same size as the rest of the screws for the construction of the knife. And it just puts a lot more pressure down against the liner there to hold the pocket clip. So it's a very stiff pocket clip, so it's not going to fall out of your pocket. That's for sure. And the threads for the pocket clip are in the liner itself. It's not a pushed in insert into the FRN or anything like that. So it's nice and secure in that regard as well. You do get a little bit of jimping on the kicker, if it will focus. A little bit of jimping there. There's no jimping on the finger choil, and I probably wouldn't use this knife too hard with my finger in that position, because it just terminates, this choil just kind of terminates right up into the blade, the sharpened area where the blade trails off. So with my particular finger in there, it's awfully close to that cutting surface, and I just don't think I would bear down on it too hard with my finger in there. But this is just going to be a great little EDC pocket knife. I'm probably not going to be bearing down on it too hard. Going to be cutting food, packages, boxes, mail, all the stuff that we do with our little EDC stuff. So yeah, so on to some of the comparisons. Clean this blade off. Okay, in the high end, or high to mid, I guess it's high for me. I work hard for my money, so when I have to drop big money on a knife, $110 is a lot of money for me. But anyhow, you can see there next to the Para 3, it's essentially the exact same size knife. The Para 3 also has a 3-inch blade and roughly 4-inch handle. Two totally different knives. I understand that one's much more expensive than the other. Para 3 somewhere in the $125 range. And this guy, I don't think I mentioned that yet, probably should mention it. You can pick this knife up for under 40 bucks. $38.99 is what I paid for this one. So for that kind of money, if you don't have the 125 for something like this, and you're just looking to get a good quality knife in your pocket that's going to do the job, hold an edge a long time, good ergonomics, all that stuff, very light, easy to carry, certainly that's going to be an option for you. If you have knives like this and you want to expand your collection and include some value folders, or maybe you just want something that you don't want to carry your expensive knife in your pocket that day, and you just want to carry something a little bit less expensive, or treat it as a beater knife or something like that, excellent option. Excellent option. So there it is on the Para 3. Take a look. Okay, another quick mid to high end knife, depending on where you're at in your collection. The Native 5, the Spyderco Native 5. You can see they are also very similar in size. Blade length, handle length, thickness, very similar. $90 knife, roughly 90 bucks, roughly $40 knife. Blade material going to be vastly superior. Depending on what you're using it for, blade material here is still very adequate, and it's considered a very good quality steel. But $40 versus $90. So if you're not quite ready to spend that much on a knife, just to show you have an option of something that's going to be very comparable in terms of performance and ergonomics. Okay, moving on to something that's going to be more in its price range, a little bit less expensive, but in my opinion, less of a knife as well. The Rat Model 2. Great knife, don't get me wrong. These knives, I've seen them as low as around $26, $27. So they are going to be a little bit less than the CUTJACK, but you're going to get less materials. I believe you're getting something to the effect of some kind of plastic material with the handle. I don't believe it's a true FRN. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so. You're getting AUS-8 steel. Once again, a downgrade in steel. Ergonomics are great for what it is, but for a very small hand, it's probably going to do well. But for a medium to large size hand, it's not going to be near as nice in terms of ergonomics as the CUTJACK-MINI. But you can see very comparable in size, and the features in this knife for a little bit more money. You're getting a lot more knife for a little bit more money. And just in the spirit of Nick Shabazz, if anybody's familiar with his channel, great channel. Highly recommend you subscribe and watch that channel. A lot of good knife information there. But anyhow, he always throws out a wrap model number 1. So there you go, wrap model number 1. Much bigger knife. Going to be about the same, around $30 price point. Same as the 2, a little bit more than the wrap model 2, but same materials. Essentially the exact same knife, just larger. But yeah, just wanted to throw that in there to show you the comparison on that, because a lot of people have that as a value folder, consider it one of the best value folders. Now this is going to be a very, very close comparison in a value knife from a reputable company. So here we go. The Spyderco Persistence. You can see that these knives are pretty much on par with one another. The CUTJACK is just a shade longer, not by a ton. Blade length very comparable. Cutting edge very comparable. Weight, though, is going to be a little different. This is going to be a heavier knife. You get a lot of the same idea with this knife. You get milled liners. You have G10, though, which is, in my opinion, a little bit better than the FRN. You have a little bit better pocket clip compatibility with the 4-way tip up or tip down. But blade steel definitely goes to the steel wheel. We're looking at 8 CR3 MOV on the Persistence, and D2 again on the CUTJACK. Full flat grind. This is probably going to slice a little bit better, but here you get something that's machined a little bit better, and a nicer machining process as well. You got the swedge, you've got the the flats here with the grind terminating towards the top of the blade. Liner lock locks up, I believe, in my opinion, the machine work that went into the steel wheels. A little bit nicer the machine work that goes into this. Don't get me wrong, these Chinese made value folders from Spyderco are great. I just think they lose out a little bit to the overall quality of the CUTJACK. Lockup is a little bit deep on that, and the blade tang is cut well, so that will lock up good for a long time, but just not as well as the tang on the CUTJACK. So these knives are going to be just about the same price. I believe these now, the Spyderco Persistence is selling for $38, and so is the CUTJACK-MINI. So the Tenacious, the step up in this line is probably going to be on par with the step up in this line, which would be your full-size CUTJACK. But these are going to be a direct comparison pretty much all the way around as far as price, length, size, weight. We'll do a real quick weight comparison on the old scale. Put that into ounces. We're looking at 3.5, 3.58 on the Persistence, and 3.008, so 3 ounces on the CUTJACK. So half an ounce. Not a gigantic difference, but depending on what you're doing, if you're going to be hiking or something, and this is something you're looking at, maybe that's something you're into, saving weight with something like that. But phosphor bronze washers, better blade steel, better ergonomics. I know that's weird saying that against a Spyderco, but I really do feel that it is. So maybe a comparison one day, we will compare the Polestar. I believe it has a forward choil. It's a Chinese-made Spyderco as well. Or maybe the Efficient. I believe it has a forward choil. But maybe those will be for another video. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on these. Showed you some comparisons. Overall fit and finish again, great. Great pocket clip, forward finger choil, lightweight, good blade steel, good jimping. Um, just a great knife. Great addition. Great value folder. If you're looking for something without breaking the bank, that's going to give you a very good quality knife that you're not going to be concerned about using. And that's fun to flip. Certainly check out the steel wheel cut jack. Alright, thanks for watching.